Hi, do you hear me? Just in case somebody of you doesn't know what Cyrillic is. It's a non-Latin script, the closest to Latin. And about 250 million of people all over the world use it. And it originated from Greek in the 9th century and developed its own way until the beginning of the 18th century when Peter the Great, the Emperor of Russia, reformed it to make it closer to Latin, as it is now. But our speech is about the international type competition, Modern Cyrillic 2019.
And the aim of the competition was to discover the objective evidence of the current state of the Cyrillic type design and identify the best examples of its development. Cyrillic type designs and completed fonts created or released from 2014 up to 2019 were eligible for the competition. And also, both original typefaces and legal Cyrillic extensions of the existing Latin typefaces were eligible. Modern Cyrillic 2019 was the fourth competition of the series. The previous ones were the Cyrillic 99, the Modern Cyrillic 2009, and Modern Cyrillic 2014.
And the general idea of the Cyrillic type design competition belonged to the founders of Paratype, Russia's oldest type foundry, Emil Yakupov and Vladimir Yefimov. They organized two first competitions and partly the third one because Emil died untimely 2 months before the competition was launched, and we are very grateful to Maxim Zhukov and Shrift publishers who made the competition happen. And
last year, when we started to discuss the upcoming Modern Cyrillic 2019 competition, we came to a decision to rethink the significance.
From scratch.
Yes.
And to make the judging online and to rethink the structure of the jury and to rethink the overall idea, except the idea that it is Cyrillic type design competition and that it's organized by us. What about the jury?
And yes.
The Cyrillic type design community is really smaller than the Latin one, for example. And every competition, about half of the jury are the same persons who have to judge others because there are not so much people who can judge the quality of Cyrillic. So and they judge and they can't participate themselves as well as their collaborators. So we decided to put jury's works into the catalog along with the winners and to invite some jury members as foundries, not individual designers. So we had three foundries and 5 individual designers and
we had 8 votes in general, but 11 persons in the jury.
Yes.
And this is it.
And this is the sample, this is the winner, and this is the jury's work.
We also had the selection committee. As the participation is free of charge, we hope to receive, we actually expected to receive a tremendous amount of entries, and they of course needed to be manually checked to the conformity of the rules, because we had several rules, for example, anonymity of the entries for more objective judging. So the participants could not indicate
the names, the author, the customer, and so on.
Yes.
And also the overall acceptable quality of the typeface was checked by the selection committee, and they selected 208 entries out of 340. And, well, also, why online judging? Type design and Cyrillic type design is developing faster and faster, and for now, 5 years since the previous competition sounds like eternity. So we made two general suggestions. First, that we had to have as objective judging as possible, because there could be a lot of good typefaces and it should be very difficult. And the second one, that 5 years is too much, and in the future we have to make it more frequent.
And also, people have been using web fonts for about 10 years already, and the variable technology has been under development since 2016. And we've thought that web fonts and variable fonts were important enough to take them into consideration.
When we have the word modern in the name of the competition. So we just had to move online. And also, there were also some reasons. The first one, that the judges had more time to evaluate all the projects, because when you have just several hours to make all the decisions, it's not so easy. And with this, we had about a week or a bit more for that.
Also, online judging allows the jury to evaluate the web pages along with the videos of variable fonts, for example, together with PDF samples. This is technically
possible.
possible.
Variable fonts uploaded videos of them.
And yes, you already told about objectivity. And also, we designed and produced this platform to help us organize next competitions in future and to make them more frequent as needed.
And also, also the important thing is that the Cyrillic community is not uniform, and there are very different ideas how the Cyrillic script should develop and so on. And online was a good idea to put people with different visions together, and it was less arguing about more balance. And we developed a system of criteria, and different criteria had different meaning for the different categories and usual design categories, type systems and superfamilies, text typefaces and display typefaces.
And we also had different distribution categories. First, we had public typefaces, the ones that are available for sale or for free download. And also we had custom faces that were designed, tailored for the needs of customers. And experimental design, that is proof of concept. That is, it could be a student work or just something to expand the boundaries of the design.
For example, in experimental designs, the character set was not evaluated at all. They could include just one alphabet of any Cyrillic language.
And also it was obligatory to indicate whether the Cyrillic and Latin was designed by the same author, or it was an extension. So, like already produced Latin font that was extended by someone else.
We had 18 different combinations of the factors applied to the criteria, and we had 9 criteria to evaluate. First, the overall quality of the graphic idea. The
novelty and the originality of the graphic idea.
Quality of the Latin script.
And quality of the Cyrillic characters.
The structure of the text setting or structure of the display line.
The consistency of Latin and Cyrillic characters, how do they work together?
Structure of the type family. For example, this one was variable, and the author uploaded a beautiful video with it stretching.
We had an additional bonus for character set if
like
it was large.
And the like. I don't illustrate the like, but it has
just a personal preference.
It has a good factor. It could bring 3 points. And the evaluation, every judge could evaluate every criteria of every entry from -1 if the quality or anything else he didn't like at all, to +3 when it's bomb and fire.
So, what we
did, in
yes,
fact.
we invented the system
That's
first.
me. We invited the jury and the selection committee.
We designed and developed this website.
That's him. And that's it.
We commissioned the logo from our previous winners of the Modern Cyrillic 14, Atelier Otadaya.
And we asked them to make the logo variable. And we designed the variable font ourselves, a very quick modular one with a hidden historical roots. And we wanted it to have 2 axes to stretch when you're scrolling and to change weight and hover. But something went wrong.
It created a lot of complications in the HTML and CSS layout. Because
So
when you stretch it
axis.
vertically, it started overlapping and it not repositioning. So we
It
killed
was
the
just
height
that.
axis, as it was not supported by most browsers.
So only the weight change was left.
Then we invited everybody we knew to the competition, as it was free of charge.
And personally, Dmitry wrote a ton of emails to invite everybody and to discuss everybody. Well, we discussed everything, and as for me, I participated in the final discussion about the winners, and she's not here, but I'd like to thank Gaina Bagdasaryan, who moderated the discussion, and it was great. And we gathered the information, we published the results.
And we designed and printed the catalog. Most of the work in the catalog was done by Sasha.
It is about a month of my life. And we have several copies with us. So if you don't have one and you think you are interested in Cyrillic and you need it, please catch us or Anna, this girl, and ask for your copy. And there is a small exhibition. It will work. So, the results.
But
It's not
that's
the end. Yeah, it's not the end of the talk. It's just the middle. So we got 340 entries, and the selection committee selected 208 entries out of them. And sorry. And the jury selected 30 typefaces as winners, 9 type systems and superfamilies, 6 text typefaces, and 15 display typefaces. And also several typefaces were honorable mentions, and we had 3 prizes from major font editors. Where is Glyphs? Thanks to them.
Hello! Fantastic. Хорошо.
And the special prizes are marked with the stars. And you can see all the winning entries in the small exhibition just behind the reception. And, well, we have 2 sorts of conclusions. What we learned from the competition and from its results. We can make 2 types of conclusions, and based on the previous competition experience and on the objective evidence of what we see in development of the Cyrillic script and the general conclusions.
So let's begin with more common and global trends that are seen in Cyrillic.
As well as in Latin.
As well as in Latin, yes. Type
others.
systems and superfamilies. The proportion of larger type systems is now greater than 5 or 10 years ago.
And the amount of styles.
And it's growing tremendously in huge numbers. And perhaps that's because of the possibilities of the modern software that allows for fantastic results. And now type foundries in much cases are just prefer to develop a variety of vast variety of different styles, varying in width, height, weight, optical sizes, and other options.
And the structure of the type family. Some designers play with the structure of the type family. It's not the usual office family in 4 styles, or even not the Frutiger indexation. Sometimes it's really different. And, and for example, 4 out of 9 superfamilies had optical sizing in them, so it's also a trend.
Some of them had unconventional range of styles.
Yeah.
Like sun blue.
And the next trend that we had is collaborations.
And in case of individual designers and small foundries, they can work together on a type family and work with another designer, or just delegate the work to work on, for example, one foundry creates a typeface and commissions other designer to make the Cyrillic for them, or some other cases similar to that. Type foundry can invite an individual designer for some project afterwards. The same designer can work with another studio.
So we just saw after we recognized the results, we saw the same people working in different combinations.
Globalization for designers. A lot of type designers became sort of wandering knights who live not in the country of their birth and work with clients from all over the world. And this also means that the Cyrillic community is becoming more global, more open, more interlinked, more than ever.
Oh, sorry. Just, you can see.
Yes, this is about collaboration.
Collaboration and the list of authors who work in London but are from 3 different countries and design the perfect Cyrillic. Text and display. The boundary between text and display typefaces is blurring. So, for example, this one was in text category and this one in display. And the difference between them, it's not so huge. It depends on the opinion of the designer. Yes. And there's Cyrillic specific conclusions. The first one, we are happy that Cyrillic follows more or less the same trends. For example, there are the reversed contrast typefaces which were sent to the competition.
And general trends that are seen in the global type design scene are the same in Cyrillic, actually. So it's developing in line with the other world, with the whole world.
And it was the first case in Cyrillic type design competition when the Cyrillic native members of the jury could not determine, while looking at the entries, which one was designed by a native speaker and which was not. Because when the typeface is imperfect, you can clearly see which one is made by a native and contains native mistakes, and which one is made by a non-native. But here, they all were perfect, and they were really good, and, for example, no one knew that this girl doesn't speak Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, and Bulgarian, and so on.
Gradual blurring of the tradition. As more variety appears in the field of good, usable Cyrillic, conventional shapes are no longer so rigid, so regular, yes. So, well, there are starting much more experiments in even in text faces, not only display.
Even in text, yes. And also the good idea is that quite a lot of our winners used original, non-Latin sources for their typefaces, being revivals or historically inspired. And, well, Soviet lettering of the 60s, or typography of 1920s, or industrial sans serif of the 19th century. And That's great. And
So we're very glad to say that Cyrillic, maybe not all of it, but at least the most advanced part, is developing in line with global.
Stop.
Yes. Ah, well, no,
last-
you're told about Prepatrine.
And also, there was a number of good typefaces that used the heritage before the 18th century in more or less conservative ways, but it's here, and we're glad.
And it's
We're
been
also very glad about it.
reintroduced even in the new way. So it's
Rethinked and
not a
reintroduced in the
revival, but
contemporary typography.
something being rethinked, and like this, for example.
And now, well, the final thing that we're happy with the development of Cyrillic.
We are now ready to continue it and make the competition more frequent. And we are welcoming you to join the competition when that will be
In 2021.
21.
The next one. So if you design Cyrillic, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.